Okay, so our topic is spray on skin. Spray on skin is a skin culturing treatment for burn victims developed by plastic surgeon Dr. Fiona Wood from Perth, Western Australia.
So just to give you a little history on Miss Wood here, she's an Australian plastic surgeon who actually invented the spray-on skin technology for use in treating burn victims. She became Australia's first female plastic surgeon after earning her fellowship from the Royal Australian College of Surgeons. Originally, she was born in Yorkshire, England, and actually before her medical career, actually wanted to become a sprinter in the Olympics. Prior to her medical career, post sprinting or post Olympics, she actually ended up graduating from St. Thomas Hospital Medical School in London and worked for a brief time in the British Hospital. Before she moved to Perth in the late 80s, she married a surgeon who actually was a native of Western Australia, and at that time she became Western Australia's first female plastic surgeon. And in the early 90s, Wood became head of the burn unit at Royal Perth Hospital. And then from the early 90s, Wood focused her research on improving established techniques of skin repair. And then that's when her spray-on skin repair technique involved taking a small patch of healthy skin from burn victims and using it to grow new skin cells in laboratories. So to this day, 2005, she was honored as Australian of the Year due to her research and due to her medical career.
So the technology used for spray on skin relies on cells such as progenitor cells and color imparting melanocytes. So a small step-by-step kit was processed by Avita Medical. Avita Medical is a UK-based lab that manufactured this kit, which is the size of about a sunglasses case. With this kit called ReCell, surgeons can harvest, process, and apply these cells to treat a burn up to 50 square inches. ReCell requires 4 square centimeters of skin graft and can cover a burn with an area of up to 80 times the size of the original biopsy. So how this kit works, a small swatch of skin near the burn site is taken and placed in the kit's incubator along with the enzyme solution. The enzyme loosens the critical cells at the skin's dermal epidermal junction. The surgeon then harvests them by scraping those layers and putting them into the solution. So once sprayed on the wound, the burn site receives basal cells from the biopsy sites. Where previous techniques of skin culturing requires 21 days to produce enough cells to cover these major burns, Wood's method only requires 5 days. And through research, she found that scarring is greatly reduced if you can replace the skin before 10 days of the injury.
And I think to this day, actually, in 2005, she was named the Australian Female of the Year, I believe. So that shows a little bit of her research being pretty active and pretty beneficial towards burn victims.
Pretty powerful.
So pretty nice.
So there is still research being done when it comes to spray-on skin. Spray-on skin has been approved by Australia, some countries in Europe, China, and Malaysia. The FDA has not approved the use of spray-on skin since there's still clinical trials still being conducted. The trials have been pushed back since in 2006 by Avita due to lack of volunteers. However, in 2010, the United States provided a good amount of funding to have research conducted. A big supporter of ReCell trial was the U.S. military due to the war injuries that can benefit and the regeneration works. The clinical trials that took place found that the skin biopsy acquired from the patients only needed to be around 4 square inches, like you said, and only a couple of days to culture the stem cells. So according to the government clinical trial website, the trial ReCell combined with mesh skin graft in the treatment of acute burn injury. So the study that was conducted from January 2015 to February 2016 had 30 participants that had 5 years and older. The burn area that was split in 2 sections. So area A and area B, which half was the skin graft and then half was the spray-on skin. Researchers wanted to know if the spray-on skin would be more effective than the skin graft. So the trial would only be deemed successful if the area was confirmed to be healed within 8 weeks. After studying cases in 6 states, at least one here in San Antonio at Fort Sam Houston, it found to be the trial was successful, but again, the FDA needs to do more research in order to approve it here in the United States.
Well Sounds like it's really developing.
Yes.
So it's recorded that 450,000 people are treated for burn injuries each year. Out of that 450,000, 3,400 are resulted in death. And in 2010, it was recorded that every 169 minutes, there's a death resulted from burn injuries. And in 30 minutes, every 30 minutes, there is a burn injury. So in this video, it shows recently, back in September of 2016, there was an aerial strike in Syria, and it's a graphic video, but it gives you an insight as to what people are doing across the seas to aid burn victims. So in the video, it said that they had to use mud because they had nothing else, and the bandages that were used to cover the burn wounds were polyester, which is actually worse for the burn victim.
So I'm going to be giving you a few of the current events that have happened. So over the past couple of years, dealing with burn victims that have undergone this treatment of spray-on skin, one of the first people to use this treatment were victims of the Islamic extremist group in 2002. This happened with they detonated 2 bombs in the Bali tourist area in Kuta, I believe. There was a result of 202 deaths and countless injuries. There was about 28 victims that were burned over 90% of their body. So ouch. And in that time of the spray-on skin, actually Fiona Wood was there on scene, and she helped those victims. They ended up losing about 3 of the victims, but I think 25 of them were actually healed, like a full recovery from her treatment. So it was still an experiment, but it's still, I mean, even though they lost 3 people, it was still amazing that over 25 people, or about 25 people, lived from the burns. Another person who was one of the first people to use this experiment was the state trooper, Matthew Urum, who was unfortunately burned in a bonfire accident in July of 2009. They said that on one side of his body, it was completely burned, and they said that it looked as if if you were cooking a hot dog, that the whole hot dog was completely burned. But whenever Matthew went under for treatment, the doctor said that he healed from his 2nd-degree burns in a total of 4 days. So that's pretty awesome. And then one of the most recent burn victims, her name is Tiara Del Rio, and her boyfriend Bo were severely burned from an accident in their home when she lit a candle. Apparently there was a natural gas leak, and whenever she lit the candle, it blew up in her face. And he went out and he grabbed her and took her outside, and they, stopped, dropped and rolled it in the dirt. And he wasn't as burned as she was. I think they said that she received 2nd and 3rd-degree burns on her face, hands, arms, legs, and everywhere. But the only place that was not burned was her back, so that area was able to, use for the spray-on skin to regrow and treat her burns. He received 60% of his body being burned, and he also went through with the treatment, and he was able to recover as well. So that's really awesome too.
So this all gives an insight of how needed and how amazing this experiment and this product is. Spray-on skin, as interesting as it sounds, is very needed, especially overseas with the airstrike victims. But even like here in America, as often as statistics shows how often it occurs and how fatal it can be. So not only can it result in death, but when they are burnt, they lose muscle, they lose their skin, and they lose function of their muscles. And so with Fiona's product of spray-on skin, they're able to, one, recover faster and restore like their skin in a shorter amount of time.